So today I will guide you through Filmbox, the new plugin by Video Village. Let's jump right into it. Go to your OpenFX and type in Filmbox. Just drag and drop and here we go. So a quick overview. You have a mode which is called full. You can choose that you want to emulate the negative only, the print only, or halation and grain only. We leave it for full for now. I will show you all the features and then we will go through how I'm using this plugin. Alright, so as source you have ARRILOG-C, Sony S-Log3, Red, Blackmagic, really all you need. You can also work in ACES or DaVinci Intermediate. It's really great. So this is a film emulation plugin that works scene referred and I really like this. So we have DaVinciWideGamut RGB and Log3G10. Alright, that's looking nice. Now we are in the camera module. We can enable or disable this one. We can adjust the exposure, the color temperature, and the tint. Works really nicely, very straightforward. Sometimes I will use this in the back of my notary, but more on that later on. Now the core part of this plugin are the negative profiles. So you can choose 16mm, 35 or 35 full frame. And as stocks you have all the Vision 3 stocks available. So 250D, which stands for daylight, is the stock they profiled. And they did offsets for the 500T, which is a tungsten stock. 200T, also tungsten stock, and 50D, another daylight stock, but the slower one. And as you can see, you can always use a dust and weave or a clean preset. In the advanced setting, you can dial in some color and tone. Here's the style. Again, these are the profiles. Another great thing about this plugin is the halation. I really love the halation model they have done in here. I think they also introduced some kind of MTF, so that stands for modulation transfer function and means that all the very sharp pixels get more blurry. So we have enabled it in here, and as you can see, this looks really nice out of the box without anything else on it. And if we choose 16, you see how much more blurry and soft this gets, and I really like this effect. And you can also customize this one with the radius, the strength, and the sharpness. And this sharpness slider works really nicely, and I really love the halation model they came up with. It's amazing and at the time being the best I've ever seen in a plugin. And last but not least, you can also change the color, but I'm never doing this, but just in case you want it more reddish or more yellowish or something like this, you can dial it in. And you can also reduce the saturation, but I leave this on standard all the time, or let's say most of the time. Now let's go to the grain. So you can also enable and disable this one. You have all the different styles, like the different stocks and 16 or 35 or even full frame 35mm. Where you see how this changes, and you can also dial in the strength, softness, saturation, and also some D-squeeze if you shoot anamorph or stuff like that, or you have a 239:1 aspect ratio. It's a great feature. And yeah, I think the grain needs a bit of tweaking, so it sits nicely in the footage. I feel like these standard presets are a bit overlaid. I think there are other options that sits more nicely in the picture, like Grainlab or Dehancer, but it's not bad. I just find it looks a bit overlaid, but with some tweaking, especially with the softness and so on, you will get there. So it's definitely nice to have, especially that you have all-in-one plugin, and the price is more than appropriate. So I don't care if this one is not as good as Grainlab, for example, but again, just a personal opinion, of course. And another great thing is the gate weave. You can enable this one. You have 60mm 8-tone camera or a 35 RE4 35. This one's really nice, and as you can see, this is the shake that's going up and down because film is never still but always moves a bit. So it's great that they also implemented it in 2 different strengths, and also you can dial in your strength too. That's the negative part. Now let's head to the lab. In the lab one, again, you can enable or disable these options. So you have a vibrant slider. This one works really nicely, so this saturates the footage but doesn't make the colors look garish. So you add saturation and decrease luminance with one slider, really nice. Then a contrast slider, I find this really nice too. And push and pull process, this one is really nice for designing your final outputs. I really like this one. And last but not least, split toning, so you can adjust the hues and the intensity. I think you have to be very careful with these 2 sliders, but it's great that they're in there. And last but not least, you have your output. You have 3 different presets. One is full film emulation, then you have a standard one and the extended. So this would be the more modern approach. This would be the more traditional approach, and something in between, or at least I would define them as that. And also you have a custom one where you can dial in your tone curve and your grayscale neutrality with 2 different sliders. It's a nice to have feature too. So with grayscale neutrality, they mean how much blue into the shadows and warm into the highlights you're pushing. And also the tone curve is how much of your print effect you want on the footage. Really nice. And then you have your display color space, so you're all the way in scene referred, and at the end you adjust for your display. So you have many different profiles like Rec 709, 2.4 standard one, P3 profiles, 2020 profiles. And with ACES your workflow is a bit different, so you have to use a custom ACES pipeline and set these ones at the end, so you don't have all the ACES profile available, but I think it's perfectly fine. The only thing I don't understand right now, and I will contact them soon, why there isn't any DaVinciWideGamut display color space. Alright, and now to my workflow. I usually set it up like it would be film, so I would do a negative only in front of my notary, which also serves as input profile. So I would say red log3 G10 WideGamut, and then do some nodes. In here would be all my grading and stuff. And at the very end of my notary, so as output transform, I would use it again and say print only, and use like full and Rec 709 because my display is calibrated and also my surrounding is calibrated for Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. As you can see, at the end I'll have print only, and in the front I will do all my settings. So this is negative only. I would say, okay, maybe I want some more exposure for all my shots. Change the temperature, so this is an overall look design. Of course I have to see if it's working on all my shots and not on this single one. Then I'll also choose my negative stock, so let's go for something more dirty. So let's say 16mm with 500D dust and wave, because this one is inside, so it would be shot on 500D on a tungsten stock, and I want to mimic this. And in the advanced setting, let's go 500. Let's set our halation. You see, if I choose 16mm in here, my halation is on 16mm too, as you can see in here. Let's turn down the strength a bit, but the radius up, and always the sharpness down. I really like this. Make it even more reddish if you want to. And as grain, you see it's already on 16mm with 500T. I want a bit less strength, but more softness, a bit less saturation. And I would adjust the D-squeeze to my crop bars. Alright, like so. And what I forgot before, you also have a dust feature. If you choose dust and wave in here, and this one is really nice. So you have like different presets from very light to very heavy, and you can adjust the strength too. So as you can see, these are the dust particles and they're all moving. I just feel that they're a bit too sharp, and I will write them about that. Hopefully they will fix this in an update, because now I don't think you see it on the stream, but I can clearly spot these ones that they are sharper than the rest of the image. So that would be great. But again, I really love that they implemented this. And I also leave the gate weave at the standard. And now go to the lab. I want a bit more vibrance because I like the saturation it gives, especially in here. Maybe let's pull down the contrast a bit and try the push and pull. I don't like this greenish vibe, but I really love the pull process. So this gives a really nice and soft looking feel to it, and I don't want split toning. Okay, and now let's just balance the image with some offset, and you will see this works pretty nice with just some offset control. So somewhere around here is nice. Just pull the shadows a bit more down again. Gain a bit up. Maybe the saturation a bit down. And as you can see, without any fine tuning or stuff like that, just one node grading and a solid pipeline, this already looks pretty nice if you ask me. So this is without grading, with grading. And this is from log to Rec 709 with grading. Let's disable this one, and as you can see, before and after, it's really nice. And last but not least, this is the negative only, and this is the print only, and combined they are looking great. So maybe you can back off the contrast a bit, but again, this is not a grading tutorial, but just to show you the features of Filmbox, and they are great, and I think it's totally worth the price. And now to some real world projects. I graded 2 music vids already with the help of Filmbox. So here's one shot from a music video. I will link it to you in the article so you can watch it if you want to. I really love the look, I really love the density of the red, and as you can see, it's my fixed node tree, but there isn't really a lot of grading on it, just a mask. Here's another mask and some balancing and contrast adjustment, and that's basically it. So you see, really simple, great output. And here's another example. Again, this was a music video too. This needed a really fast turnaround one, so I think I adjusted the greens a bit with a key up front. Then I did slight vignette, some balancing, some look refinement. And I think, yeah, I just adjusted the hues a bit so it feels more greenish, and that's basically it too. So looks really nice, not a lot of grading, and this is very important with music videos where you need a fast turnaround. And I adjusted the shadows a bit here, sorry, I forgot about that, because the client wanted it a bit brighter. Alright, so that's basically it, and here you can see it's really looking really nice on the classes with the halation and the modulation transfer function. So yeah, that's basically it. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this review, and I hope it makes your decision easier if you want to buy Filmbox or not. I think it's a great plugin, works perfectly fine for overall look creation, especially if you need fast turnarounds or with music videos or stuff like that. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.